helping the soccer coaches and so on and so forth. It works pretty well. Could be other problems, but they seem typical. Seem like a typical family. Are they? I don't know. That's something you have to decide. Yes.
You keep saying typical, but all of us basically said that we didn't know this right here. So are you just saying that this is like?
I'm saying, is that a typical family?
Oh, okay.
I don't know. Now, is this a typical family? Okay, where that they have a lot of problems, as well as this group here has a lot of problems. But most of the problems here is not drinking. It's just a single mom that can't make ends meet, and she has support group also. Okay. And support group is sometimes good, but then you have children that are kind of not behaving, and so the pressures on that single mom and an RN usually makes a pretty good living, but it's still not enough. And what was I listening to yesterday or the day before about the RNs and the amount of hours they work and so on and so forth? Yeah, it's good pay, but it's still not enough to make ends meet. And I'll explain a little bit too. So is that a typical family, or is that maybe more people live like that than live like this? Yes. Okay. And then you have and I didn't mean to say this was a dysfunctional group, because everybody has their certain dysfunctions, but your group is completely lost, and unless you change, you're not that whole support group is going to break up. You have to change, as the pastor said. You have to change, otherwise this group is just keeping you going, making sure the kids are okay, and making sure the rest of the families is you're not beating up on your wife and so on and so forth. And you have that type of support, and she has that type of support, but maybe that's typical. Maybe that's typical. Okay? And I know you all know people in all three groups. Okay? And that's why I wanted to bring it up. What's a typical family? I don't know. And it's your opinion. It's based on what on the people that you come in contact with, your own family and so forth. Pardon me?
It's kind of a worldview.
Exactly. And it also is based on the fact that what you make of yourself, your own family, and like one of you said, you want to make sure that there's two different ways to do it. You can be an enabler, and you keep that family in the same predicament that they are. Or you can say, you know what, I don't want to be like that. When I grow up, when the kids see it, and some kids, I don't know, 50% of the kids, or maybe say, I see what they did wrong, I'm going to not live that life. And then maybe another 50%, I don't know what the statistics are, say, you know what, I'm going to try to, but I know, it's just progresses. That's part of the social fabric that we talked about. The people, the kids from this situation, kids from this situation, may turn out okay because they see what I don't want to be. And then this family, they've got everything, and then again, maybe they don't have to work as hard. The kids don't have to work as hard, and so maybe half of those kids, wind up, having a problem, and then the other half maybe go on. I'm not just bringing out statistics, but what I wanted to know is there's, a typical family. What's typical? It talks about it in the book, and a lot of professors have a problem with this chapter, especially sociology. There's a lot of things in here which are not really. This was written by economists, so I don't use a lot of this chapter, and we're going to talk a little bit more about family on Wednesday or Monday, but. I wanted you to see how in today's world, this is a lot different than what it was years ago. So the old typical family is this family here. How many people are left like that? I don't know. I mean, we hope that yes, maybe that's at least in the it's giving the appearance of being a functional family. Okay, but it's certainly not typical. So if I ask you, what's a typical family? I'm going to get all kinds of different responses, right? So I just wanted you to see, and you got support groups. Everybody has a support group. Some people that don't, people that are homeless, or whatever, may not have a support group, but then they have social workers that help out and come, and there are ways to take advantage of that. But so, all right, let me just go through this chapter so that you know what to read, and then we'll go over it again on Monday. But let me just go over real quickly the things to read, and then we'll talk more about family. All right. Again, there's a lot of stuff in here that you don't have to read. You don't have to know about number of mates and serial monogamy. The most important part is the first part. The first part of the chapter 8 on page 168 talks about institutions shape our personality, marriage, and so on and so forth. Variations of family patterns. You really don't have to know that. Okay, functions of family and society. Family has many functions, and those are kind of typical functions of what we talk about. The little comment on the little box on living and loving on Singapore. That's real. We'll start talking about that on Monday. It's really pretty interesting about selection.
What page are you on here?
175. 175. Okay, and you should read, if you haven't read it already, we'll talk about it, 178, How to Be a Good Wife. You haven't read that?
Yeah.
Did you read that?
Yes, I did.
That's pretty funny. That's pretty funny.
Especially at the end of it.
Yeah, we talked about improve it. And that's, to tell you the truth, that's basically it in this chapter. The chapter is really poorly written. It's like outdated. I'm going to give you some more updated stuff on the family. I'll give you that Monday. And that's why I wanted to do this exercise. Here to do that. So I'll decide on Monday who did the best job and get a free prize. Okay. All right. See you all Monday. Have a good weekend.